I don't know if this is working. It's kind of weird to me. So it's just different than the times that I've done it before. So, anyways, I'm going to just start again. I'm sorry if that kind of got screwed up. If you're there, if you could just write a comment or not. Anyways, I'm sorry. Cheers to everyone. Happy New Year. I want to wish everyone all the best in 2021. I want to say that 2020 was a hard year for a lot of you. You're supposed to sip when you have a cheers. This is a Brumont honey raspberry, which are many of yours favorite. Reagan and I went there for lunch today. Brumont was a special place for all of us, and it still is. I wanted to share with you how much thanks, Shirley, how much I appreciate all of you. I wanted to let you know what's been going on. As you know, in November of 2019, I heard a lot more details about how Riley was killed so suddenly on July 25th, 2018. I learned that he was shot in 61 seconds and that the police officer who shot him meant to kill him, and that he took the time. It was 61 seconds and he shot to kill, and it really did a lot to me when I heard that there were no accusations. Not that I expected any, but I didn't expect the prosecutor to be so callous with us, basically telling us that since Riley had written us a letter, that he didn't want us to worry about him anymore, that we'd be better off without him, that was his intent, was to have that police officer kill him. Riley never pointed a gun. That was never said. They said he was brandishing, he was doing the 360s, arms in the air, on the side. They never gave him a chance. So that happened in November. And in December, as like today, it's Riley's birthday. And I was feeling really down. And I want to tell you that the most special thing happened. Um, since Riley died, I don't know, some of you know that I've felt an extreme calm and peacefulness. It's all around me. It's in a lot of places that I go. I still get angry. I still get sad. I'm still happy. I have all the other emotions, but I'm just like a calmer person. I'm more reasonable, and I have a lot of beliefs that Riley's looking over me and a lot of us. And somebody reached out to me, Shirley, who was here the first time to say, and she wrote to me and told me that she'd found a pencil with Riley's name on it. I have that pencil right here. You can see, I know it's hard to see on my camera's there. It says Riley Fairholm on there. Shirley never had him in their class. Valeria was never in Riley's class. This is probably a pencil from like 15 years ago. And it put me on a journey of, really looking for signs that Riley's out there. So that was something special that happened, and that happened in January. In February, not too much happened. I know everyone's dealing with the pandemic in different ways. February, I was still processing all this stuff with the prosecutor. I'd requested a meeting with the BEI because when the prosecutor and the BEI talked with us, they always talked with us in English. So they were translating what the police officers had said, what was being said, and they were translating it into English. as well as like what was said on the 911 call. So I wanted, and they had stopped the 911 call. So I'd asked for a meeting, and I know I went over this with you guys to hear in the declarations what all the police said as they were written in their language. And I was able to get that meeting in March, and that changed a lot of things for me as well. Another thing that happened in March that was really fantastic is my stepdaughter Maggie got engaged to her wonderful fiance Andrew. So I want to wish them lots of love and happiness. And I couldn't, uh, I couldn't hope for two people to have met their matches. They're perfect together. They complement each other in the best of ways, and they've been the best parents to Dexter. I've never seen a more well trained and happy dog. So those things happened in March, and then I had my meeting on March 12th with the BEI. Um, it was good. It's as good as they ever are. I realized that they kept saying that Riley received CPR by the police officers. Uh, and we listened to the declarations, and again, not one police officer is doing the CPR. So they all agree with me that there's no cops saying that they're doing CPR because they're saying all of the other things that they did, whether it was a bandage, whether it was I was protecting the scene. I was, whatever they were doing. I was talking to Mrs. Wing and interrogating her. All of those things are there. So that was all done. And since then, I really haven't talked to the BEI. I mean, the pandemic came and it hit everyone quite in different ways. I know we all like to say that we're in the same boat. I know we've all heard that I prefer to say that we're all in the same storm. Some of us, this storm it's okay. It's been okay for me because I hate to say this to all of you who've been suffering and missing your friends and your family, but sometimes when people suffer, it's not that they want other people to suffer, but it's that you feel so alone in the feelings that you have and that you want to be alone and people don't understand that you want to be alone and they don't understand that you make them sad if you talk about Riley or if you mention anything, and it's just really stressful most of the time. So that's why I have like my other friends, so that have gone through these things. That's why um, former alcoholics, they hang out with each other so that they can learn from each other and give things to each other that others don't. It's very important to have that kind of group. The pandemics helped me in terms of getting more help via like psychology, via even like I was able to get a lot more meetings with legal things, the coroners. I had to do a thing with the ethics department, and because before everything was done in person and they never used video conferences, so a lot of those things were really out of touch for a lot of people. It's long to go to Granby. Like I see someone on a monthly basis now, but I was seeing him every other week. I did that for almost 2 years. I'm proud of the therapy you've done. It helps me stay strong. It's nothing that I'm ashamed of. I've been in therapy for a long time. I suffer from post traumatic stress disorder since May of 2012. A lot of you probably suffer from that, and a lot of what I hear and what I read when I read Facebook and stuff are those same types of symptoms and signs. People they're really suffering through this pandemic, and it's okay. And it's hard, and I'm not in that same boat as you. I'm in this same storm, but I've just it's been a lot different for me. So I'm gonna take another sip. So April and May, I had been proud that in 2019 no cops had killed any citizens with their guns. In January and February, two people were killed within like a few weeks of each other, and by the SQ, which brought all those feelings back. And I was like, okay, I guess I have to start talking again. After listening to what the BEI and the prosecutor had said to me, I felt that the my best way to get any information, because I still, to this day don't have the coroner's report or the autopsy. I've seen it, but I had to read it and give it back, and that was just the autopsy report that said, or the toxicology report that said that Riley didn't have any weed, any alcohol, any other substances. He was straight as an arrow. And I felt that it was important for me to hear from the police officers, because the police officer that shot Riley said he meant to kill him. I don't believe that in Article 26 in the Canadian Criminal Code that it says that you can shoot a gun to kill someone. Like, it, you have to, neutralize a threat. Neutralize is not the same as eliminate. It's not the same as assassinate. So I started thinking about doing a private prosecution, because I felt that that was going to be a way that I would be able to subpoena the police officers in order for them to kind of like testify against each other, because they're the only witnesses that I have. And that's what, and then when I get that evidence, then I would know if I could sum up a charge. And in the meantime of all that, I have in the back of my head, because I think of Riley all the time, and I'm wondering if he's thinking that this is good or if this is bad. Or if he's proud of me, if he wants me to stop advocating for him, if he wants me to shut up. It's always in the back of my head. George Floyd gets killed on live, on Facebook Live, basically. That situation that happened with the knee on the neck. It's a very similar case, and similar, it's the same kind of idea that my friends, their son Corey died almost in the same circumstances, except that it took less than 2 minutes. It's a lot of stuff that came back up. I went to, I've always been interested in mediumship, mediums, because like I said, there's all these signs that are coming, and it's not because I want to talk to Riley. It's not because I want him to come back, or I feel that he's at peace, but I really needed to know if he was okay with everything that I was doing. And the night before Mother's Day, Mother's Day morning, I woke up to a text message from a friend of mine. One of Riley's ex-stepmother, Julie, and she said to me, I don't know if you believe in mediums or not. And if you do, call me. And if you don't, well, happy Mother's Day. And so I texted her the next day, and I said, well, if you're going to tell me that Riley wants me to stop, I don't want to hear about it. So, it's kind of funny, because it's exactly how it happened. And I had a meeting on the 1st of May with the police ethics, because, I have a complaint in there. The investigation is done as of like September. They had to interview me one more time regarding what had happened at the hospital. You know, all these videos and stuff are on YouTube. If you look up my name, Tracy Wing, everything's there if you want to get the backstory of how all of this started to happen. I know you know, I want to just tell you, you know, this is something that I wear every day. It's my son's ashes are in here, and it's very special. And you'll always see it, I hope. And so, anyway, to get back, so I decided to contact this medium, and I did it through Facebook, and I did it like the day before I wanted to talk with her. I did it, you know, really quickly because I didn't want her to look me up. Because I mean, if you go to my Facebook page, you can hear everything. Because I had talked with Julie, and she had said some things to me that were quite. They were just unbelievable. And you know, she wasn't there to have Riley come and disrupt their session. She was there to connect with other people, and you know, but that's Riley for you, and it was very real. So I had a meeting with her, and we did it through FaceTime because she's not from Quebec. She's from, you know, almost Belleville, Ontario area. I would be happy to give you her information. It was it was fascinating. Within, I would say, I wanted to listen to get to it again because I had recorded it, but unfortunately I deleted it somehow. Probably because I wasn't supposed to record it, but I was just listening it for myself. But it wasn't within 10 seconds that she started rubbing her forehead and asked me if someone had died by trauma, by a head injury. And it was a couple weeks after Julie's reading, and it was really insane, the things that she'd said to me. She said that she could see a lot of paperwork. She could see that I was writing letters. She could see that I was advocating, and that Riley was really proud of me. Cheers. And that he was okay with this. And that took a, you know, it was like, she said a lot of things about the intervention. Not so much the intervention, but that I always felt that Riley left quickly. She said Riley was ready to go, that he took this opportunity. She says that some souls or, you know, spirits, she calls them spirits, says some spirits just aren't ready to go quite at that time. And even though they think they do, they think they're ready. They're not ready. And something holds them back, and Riley was ready. And this peace that I felt since Riley's died is that I felt that from the beginning. Not that he wanted to die, but that he was given that opportunity, he was going to take it. And that he's happy where he is. Well, happy, you know. I think there's a lot of unfinished business, but that he's okay. And I asked her a little bit about, you know, like the cop and the situation. And I've always felt that there was something wrong with that cop. I've said it in all of my other videos. If that cop had not been working that night, that Riley would still be here. Riley would probably have done some jail time, probably be in a hospital, probably be out by now because, Christ, it's, you know, we're going on almost 900 days. 900 days, and I still don't have a coroner's report or many answers to how my son died, or I know how he died. You know, he got shot in the head. But anyways, we're not going to talk too much about that. So I wanted to go back to the mediumship, and it was really a beautiful thing. I felt that I could keep going, and that I had Riley's blessing, and that you know, she said that I should spend a little bit more time with Reagan. You know, I have a teenage daughter. I love her dearly. But she is a teenage daughter who spends a lot of time in her bedroom and on her phone and with her friends. And, mom, I think I'm the cool mom, but I'm not always the cool mom. So, the pandemic kind of hit and made it happen so that we did spend more time together, some quality time together. I'm just gonna try to find a tissue here or wipe my nose real quick on my shirt. And so that's been good. So, there was a lot of things that she said that I believed. She talked about I'm gonna just tell you this because it's like I said, it wasn't to connect to Riley. She could see him. She could see that he's very very loud. He's very in your face. That's how he was. He made his presence known. I believe this because I have never told anyone this. Only a few people know that I did see Riley, and she asked me if I had caressed Riley when I saw him, or if I had seen his body that night, and if I had held him, and if I had caressed him. And I said, no, they didn't. And she's like, well, I can feel you holding him and touching him. And when I saw Riley after at the funeral home, I was able to see him, and I touched him from his head to his feet. And my family, I think we were 6 people in that room, and no one knows how. I've shared that with very few people. I've never put that on Facebook. There's no way that she could have known, that Leslie could have known any of that. So it was a good experience. It's whatever you need it to be. It can be psychic stuff. It can, she can. It was just. It's really. I was just totally fascinated. So I'm gonna move on from that and tell you about this lawsuit that I was gonna do. I was gonna do a private charge, which was basically I wanted to accuse probably 3 of the police officers with homicide in the third degree or second degree, which means it's not murder in the first degree. It's like homicide by, there was no premeditation that, it's like manslaughter as you hear it. There was no, that's murder too. And then negligence would be for the cops that would be in charge. And if you charge them, then, if you want to charge them, you have to have the witnesses, and the witnesses are the other cops who have to testify against them. And then if you think you have a case, you bring it to the jury, you bring it to a judge. You got to find a judge to listen to your case. And then he looks at it and he says, yep, yep, okay. So I was planning on doing that in the fall. And so that's why, I did a little media thing right after Riley's second year anniversary, which I want to thank all of you who went to the police station with me, who shared the video, who were there with me in spirit. It's important that I let them know that, I haven't forgotten. The SQs never really had to deal with any of this. They've never had to talk to me. They've been let off pretty easy as far as I'm concerned. The BEI's been right in it, having right in it, and the DPCP, but the SQ, we don't have to know what's going on over there. So that was my plan, and I was gonna, I was looking for a judge in July, and with the holidays, how it is in Quebec with the pandemic, everything was a little bit different. And then I was invited to go in August for to the National Assembly once again. Um, I'm a girl that gets things done. I just always have been. when Riley first died, and when I wanted to do the petition for the cameras, that didn't happen. But I got to the National Assembly. I went to see our deputy here from La CAC. I can't think of her name. The Olympic winner. I just can't think of her name right now. And I went to see her office, and they were like, well, what do you want me to do, and what do you want us to do? And I was like, well, I want to go to the National Assembly and tell my story. She was like, well, that doesn't just happen like that. And I was like, well, okay. Well, so then I asked her a little bit about the petition. I had to get somebody else because the cat can't fight for the cat. It's bizarre politics. It's difficult. You always have to go to the opposition to get anything changed, which makes absolutely no sense. But so Greg Kelly helped me. I got the petition done. I got to the National Assembly. I wasn't able to speak, but boy, I was there. He spoke for me, for other families. And then, so that was in 2019. And then in 2020, I was invited again to go to the National Assembly, and I was going to get 5 minutes to speak because the public security minister, Guilbeault, was going to do some amendments to the la loi sur le coroner. And because one of the things that she wanted was so when the BEI has done their report, it goes to the DPCP, which is the Crown Prosecutor. They decide if there's going to be a prosecution or not. And then that dossier, that report, the BEI report, goes to the coroner, and the coroner does its own investigation. So now, if I want to get any documents, I want the BEI report, I have to write to the coroner, request the annexes and the BEI report. Everything that's annexed to the coroner's report, which is basically the BEI report. Kind of something like that. And so I had made that request, but this new law, what she wanted to change was that it was going to not be part of the coroner's obligations to give that information. They wanted the BEI to do it and have it be la loi sur l'accès d'information, which is the access of information, which is like the most horrendous. This is where you're supposed to write to public offices and request information that's to the public domain. And I have a friend who's been in it for a long time. You can ask many journalists how long they've been waiting for their requests of access of information. It's a tragedy. It's a travesty. It's absolutely insane. I can help anyone, whoever wants to write a letter. There's just guidelines to follow and dates. So I was asked to go there, and also because I think that every time a human being dies at the hands of a police officer, in not like by violent means. So what I mean is by their firearm, not someone who's in distress, and the police officers come to help, and that person turns their own gun on themselves. That they die by their own hand, by suicide, not by homicide. Suicide is when you do it to yourself, and homicide is when it's done by someone else. So I was given this opportunity, this fabulous opportunity to go. And that was on August 26th. And on August 26th, I was given 5 minutes to speak. I think there was 12 people on this committee to talk about this law. And I went there asking that the annexes stay with the coroner. They're hard enough to get now, but you usually do get them. It just takes more time, but you do usually get them without having to get a lawyer to go through hoops and all that jazz. So And then I asked that every time a human died at the hands of the police, whether it be in a detention center, police chases are very dangerous and they cause accidents and they cause death. And also, like I said, if they die by their hand, by the police's hands, by a firearm or taser or beating, um, a person's heart stops while they're in custody. So those types of events, not, when a person dies by their own hand. That there be a public inquiry or public inquest, I guess I think it's an inquiry, a public coroner's inquiry, which means that there's a trial and there's not going to be any person that's going to be found guilty. What the coroner's job is, cheers, is to find the cause and the circumstances of death. So they can go far back. They can look back into the person's. We've heard a lot about the coroner this year. Once again, the DPG here in L'Estrie, la DPG, and the townships. I don't know what's going on. A little girl died over a year ago. I will say her name. Her name was Clara. She died. The DPG knew, the teachers knew, and nobody could do anything. This summer, or a couple summers ago, they found a 17-year-old boy who was malnourished, couldn't walk because he had fractures, been beaten, he was emancipated. The DPG closed the books 3 times on this person, this woman, his mother. So we have to not accept the status quo. If you think something's iffy at your neighbors, don't just take no for an answer. Like I do say, call the police. I think the police at this point were the only ones who were able to help this child. You know, I don't know that I don't believe that the police were ever called on the little girl. But anyways, I'm not gonna get into all of that. I want to get back to, because we can go, but that's what the coroner does. The coroner finds the causes and the circumstances. So the cause is usually how the person died. So Riley will be like by police intervention, gunshot to the head, and she's gonna say it's a homicide. She can't say it's a suicide. Riley didn't do it. Suicide by cop's it's not a cause, it's not a manner of death. It's, I have many things to say about that, many things, which I will. And then the circumstances are, what led up to the event. So, that's where we can look into Riley's medical background. I talked that he's had concussion. We can talk, we're going to talk about his school life. So, Riley had it really was difficult at school. I'm not going to say he was a perfect student. He was probably difficult. He didn't get all the help that he needed, and I'll stand by that till the day that I die. So the school's going to get looked into, or the school would get into, like if this was Riley's case. So, that's what they look into. They look into the background. So, if there's a suspicious death, that's what the coroner does. And it's public, so that means it's public for everyone to see. Right now, there was one that was suspended right before Christmas for a Monsieur Coriolan, I believe. I can't think of his first name, but he died in his hallway. That was on videotape. I mean, Anyways, the police, so that was at Montreal, the SPDM, not found guilty, but the BEI weren't involved. So I'm going to, whenever I talk about things, I'm going to really try to stick with the BEI because I can't go back too far because as time goes on, I keep adding to the list of the people who've died and that the BEI have investigated and no charges, and right now there's not a lot going on, so they're really busy closing cases and sending them to the DPCP, so it's just no accusations after the other. So I went to the National Assembly. It was a fantastic opportunity. I want to thank you, Alex, for that. He's been an advocate for me for all humans that have died at the hands of the police, suffered from the hands of the police, and so I think we went there on a Wednesday. Could have been a Thursday, but anyways, Wednesday or Thursday, and we went. I gave my 5-minute speech. Ministre Guilbeault came to me. They all came to me. I think it's on my timeline somewhere. It was about a 45-minute session. I had 5 minutes to speak. They asked a few questions to me and my friend because we were both speaking for the Loi du Coroner. And it was a good opportunity, I was able to speak as a mother, as a sister, like I try to, that Riley could have been anybody's son, really. He had a bad fucking moment. He just had a bad moment. It wasn't even a bad day because he had a great day. He had a bad moment and there was no one there. This little pencil, though, I haven't even taken it out of the bag because I just haven't, but this is precious. All these little signs. Have you seen these signs on my windshield? When I warm up my car with the snow on the windshield, I've done that twice now, and they both melt in a heart. And, thank you, Mitsubishi. But anyway, so I did that speech on, I think, a Wednesday. On a Monday, the chief, I haven't talked about this with anybody. I had gone public that I was going to do the private charges. And then on the Monday, so, that's like a lot of paperwork. So I was working on that and I was really getting into it. And it was going to happen in September because you have to wait for everybody to get off vacation. And so after Labor Day, we're going to start the whole thing. And I got a call from the chief coroner, Pascal Descaries. She called me and she told me that she heard my speech and that she was very touched. And she told me that she believed that we should have, that she was going to request a public inquiry. And that she already had a coroner in mind. And that coroner was going to call me in the afternoon. I was really shocked. She said she heard what I had to say. So anyways, a few hours later, the other coroner, she's a lawyer. Her name is Maître Kronstrom. She's been a coroner for 20 years. She's done cases on suicide. She's done one case on police intervention about 20 years ago. I've had the opportunity to read the inquiry. I've read quite a few inquiries. So this is like August, like the end of August, almost Labor Day. And I was going to go do this private charge, which, I have to get a lawyer. It's going to cost me some money that I don't really have any money, but, I was going to figure it out, which I figure everything out. So I was like, oh, this is good. So she calls me back in the afternoon and she says, I've looked over. Well, first of all, the first coroner told me that the coroner that had the file at that time had not started the report because when I had given my speech, I had said that it was 865 days since Riley's death, and I still hadn't had a coroner's report, and that I'd made several requests for it. So she called me and said, yeah, it was a long time, and she informed me that the coroner that had it had not started. Um, he'd looked at a few things, but not very many things. So she said, I'm taking it away from him and I'm transferring it to someone else. So that someone else, took it and she called me. Her name is Meg Kronstrom, and she said that when she read through the report, the BEI report, and some of the declarations, that she didn't find the witnesses to be credible, and that it was important for her to interview them and to talk to them. So, I could talk forever. So, I'm gonna try to keep this short, but so that's what she said. So she told me that she didn't find them credible, that it was important for her to get them on the stand because she wanted to interrogate them and that she wanted to question them. And that she was going to ask for the coroner in chief to do a public inquiry because it was important that she talk to these witnesses. And the coroner can't do that when they're just doing a report. They really have to do an inquiry. Like the cops they don't have to answer to anyone. They have to give their thing that night, and then that's it. Like, that's it. They can write 487 words describing how they killed my son, and that's all that they have to do. So it was pretty good. I was really excited. She said you can expect to hear this announced publicly in October. I should have some room on my calendar that by June, July 2021, it should, start. So in early October, I haven't heard anything, and she left me her number and her email, and she said, if you don't hear anything, call me back. So mid-October, early November, I think it was probably early November, I said I'll give them a month. I called or I emailed and I said I haven't heard anything. Because now I'm worried that they were just, saying that because I haven't wanted to tell anybody because it's a fantastic news. It's great news, and it's taken me 45 minutes to get to that, but it's my year in review, and it's my time, and that's that. So, yeah, there's going to be a public inquiry. It hasn't been announced. That's why I stopped doing all the stuff with the private prosecution because this way the police are there and I can get all the information. It's not why I want it, but I can get all the information that I need that I want without having to pay a lawyer. Well, I'm still gonna have to get a lawyer because the coroner's not working for me. She's supposed to be very objective. She's supposed to be there for the families, but I've seen others and I've seen how they go. So I've been waiting for this thing to go public so that I can go public with it, but fuck it. 2020, I'm sick of hearing, as much as I like the pandemic, I'm really sick of hearing, oh, well, COVID here, and that's why things don't get done because I think it's easier to get things done if you have the technology for it. So, there was that. I'm spending a lot of time with my daughter. That's been good. I've also been helping some friends of mine. I've been learning. I've been researching and writing letters and going to mediation with the BEI. Nothing stopped really. I'm kind of putting my ducks in a row because I'm really expecting all of this. I've requested the BEI report and from the coroner, and I haven't even received a thing her saying that she's accepted it. So, anyways, I'm waiting, and I've been the most patient, and I'm still patient, and I won't stop being patient. And you're gonna hear more from me. I've been just waiting for them because I didn't want to I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to put it out there and then it not happen. But I have it on in an email that it's gonna happen. So I don't think my going live and telling you guys about it is gonna change. So I do want to mention that I'm gonna try to keep you up to date more often. I'm gonna try to do more stuff on YouTube, or do a separate page on Facebook. I don't know, because I really want to talk about my grieving process and how I feel quite good about that. I've learned a lot from my therapist. I think there's things that I could teach you, or if you needed. I'm open for that. Anyways, so I want to thank everybody who's been here. 2020's been a hell of a time. I don't know what kind of boat you have. I don't know if you're in a dinghy. I don't know if you're in a rubber raft. I really don't know. I've been in my home. This summer was rough because I didn't have a lot of work. I was worried about that. I had to dip a bit into my savings, but I paid my taxes. I paid my mortgage. Yeah, and now I'm working quite a lot. Back to like full time. So the bills are getting paid. Able to put a little money away, and I'm gonna stay strong for 2021. If any of you need me for anything, I'm always there for you. I know you're there for me too. You guys have a good night and a very, very happy new year. I love you all. Good health, love, happiness, and all of that. Thanks.